You know what stops most business owners from growing? It's not strategy. It's hesitation. It's procrastination. It's procrastinating on that one big decision that could change their life forever. Most business owners think that the decisions they're making are the keys to them getting to success. But the truth is, the biggest danger is the decisions you keep delaying. Every time you hesitate, you're setting yourself back days, months, or even years with your journey. And I get you because I've been there. I've been in the space of hiring, firing, changing my position, changing my niche, changing my entire business strategy, changing my business, moving across the country. Decisions often hold us back, not because they're hard, but because we avoid making them. So many people tell me, Luke, I already have a plan, but I just don't know where to start. Well, the truth is, if you have a plan, then you would know where to start. You would know exactly when everything was going to happen. Plan was good enough. You would be able to trust the decisions that you're making. You would be able to make the big decisions, going from a 9 to 5 to full-time with your online business, going from having no team members to having multiple team members, going from having too many team members to cutting down your team members when you don't actually need them. Here's the thing. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So even if you have a game plan now that takes you up to January, does it incorporate for the times where things are going to screw up? Are you anticipating the different ways that different things can go? For example, Ellie, love her to death. She was a client of mine. And she was in this space where she was like, hey, I'm going to do this coaching certification alongside my Etsy business and social media manager role. And then from there, I'm going to go full time with like becoming a coach. And that's so many people's plans. Like, I'm going to do this thing and then I'm just going to be able to go and become a coach or go and be an online business owner. But she wasn't able to do that. Life slapped her. And that's how she ended up coming to me, because she wasn't progressing exactly how she wanted. In the first few weeks, she got 6 clients. And then after that, she was like, Luke, this is amazing, but I really want to take this to the next space of my Etsy business. So what happened was we paused the coaching because that was the right thing for the right decision at the right time. And then in 30 days, she went from 2 stores to 23 stores. And then over the next year, has been sold in over 100 stores over the space. So a similar thing happened for me, right? When I was in the space of having up and down months, I couldn't hit the 10K mark for a long time. Especially in 2023, it was kind of rough. I'd hit 10K months before, but I knew that I wanted to get past the 15K a month mark. But what I realized was it wasn't about going for the 15K a month mark. I actually had to focus on making 40K a month and beyond, because the moment I shifted from short-term survival decisions, so in the moment and changing my plan all the time, was the moment when I actually broke the ceiling. So I came through this short-term piece and made it through the long-term piece because I changed the plan. The plan was too small. So you may have a plan that's working for you right now, but it might be too small. It might not be serving you. It might not be anticipating the different ways that life can come. You need to have malleability in your plan and know how to effectively change it so that you can hit the months that you're looking to hit. But here's where the real change came. So a lot of you have done maybe mindset work. If you haven't, this is going to be revolutionary, and this is what I learned. This is what I paid 10K for in my first ever coaching program. But when you're looking at reworking limiting beliefs or reworking your inner world, many people look at what are the thoughts and then what is the fear behind those thoughts. And then that causes your feelings, that causes your actions, that causes your results, that causes your circumstances. And then we come back to thoughts again. So if you feel like you are not enough, so I feel like I'm not enough, then you might feel disappointed, you might feel angry with yourself, you might feel guilty, you might feel fearful. There's lots of different things that you could fit. And different people listening to this are going to have different actions. So typically I have two types of people. So I have people that are more new business owners and are looking to grow their business and get their business going and get to the 10K a month mark. And then I have the flip side of people who are already making somewhere between the 10 and 50K a month mark, who are already taking lots of action, but now they're coming to a point where their previous paradigms that got them to where they're at, their previous loops like this. So for those people, sometimes what their fear allows them to do is actually take a ton of action. So then they get results, and then that changes their circumstances. Some people are like that. Some people, and that's similar to how I was. But the problem is we're told, okay, in order to fix this, I need to change my fear into I am enough, which is then going to change all of these. And the problem is with that, for especially the 10 to 50K a month mark, is they think, well, if I lose this, I'm going to lose my edge. Bullshit, for one. But two, if you're on the flip side and you're told, hey, in order to change your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your results, your circumstances, you need to change the root cause. So what do people go? Well, where was the root cause that I found this? And they go to the feeling, they go to the situation, they say, oh yeah, this time when my dad sent me to my room because I got bad grades was the time that I didn't feel enough. So I just need to tell my inner child that I'm going to feel fine. Okay, my inner child, boom, done, fine. That's not where the breakthrough happens, because that time where you were made to feel not enough would have caused some trauma, in your body. So we have your body here. Hopefully your arms and legs don't look like that. If they do, God bless you. But you have some trauma stored in your body. So literally one of my clients yesterday, Shayna, she had this block in her throat. So from not being able to express herself, which meant that she hasn't been able to express herself in business, hasn't been able to express herself in relationships, has been people pleasing, and has been self-sabotaging because of that. So this emotional block, we had to first uncover the block in the heart, then we had to uncover the block in the throat, then we had to move down into the lung, and then we had to move down into the liver. And then once she was able to process those different emotions, then she was able to step into momentum and start taking action. But the beautiful thing about this is, rather than just doing a realignment in the moment and this coming back, we have now come through this and she will not experience this again. So this specific fear, this specific not being able to express herself, in every single relationship that she pops up in every single thing and action that she does future here on out that was holding her back from previously not being able to express herself, she will be able to do, because we attacked the trauma at the root cause. We didn't just give it a surface level rewiring, a simple restructuring exercise as many of you guys are getting. So that's point number one. You think that you can just follow the plan, but when you get hit in the face and when your inner limitations pop up, you need to make sure that you are doing the deep, deep inner work to move past it. That way you can make decisions quickly, which all high-level entrepreneurs do. And that way, by making decisions faster, like going across the world, like hiring, firing, like scaling, like using ads, any of these things, all of those things are going to take you being emotionally regulated so that you can step outside of your comfort zone and grow and actually reach your potential and scale feeling safe to do so. The second cheat code to realize is you're stuck because you're trying to do everything yourself. Here's the thing. Something I hear all the time is, I can do this, Luke, I just need more time. I can do this by myself, but I just need more time. But the truth is, trying to do everything by yourself is the quickest way to burning out, to failing, to screwing up this entire game for yourself and everybody that depends on you to be the best version of yourself. So when I joined a 7-figure company, I was given the responsibility of building the sales team. So here is the sales team in a nutshell. So their goal at the time was to go from 300K a month to 500K a month. Except when I joined, they were at 50. They'd previously hit 300K a month on the regular, but they had dipped down to 50K a month. And the reason being, because at the time, the game plan was to leverage the 3 appointment setters that they had, the 3 people that book the sales calls for people. So they're in the DMs or they're calling the leads and they're saying, hey, do you need this service still? Let's book a call. There's a little bit more to it, but I'll keep it surface level for you guys. And then these guys all feed the closers. Now, I'm sure you guys are already seeing a problem, is that 3 setters and 5 closers don't make sense. Closers are the people that close the calls. They're the people that have the deep conversations with people to help them change their lives. And the game plan was to just pump ad spend and put it into the setters for the setters to then work it into the closers. But here's the problem. There's too many closers. There's too many people. And the problem was the CEO was procrastinating on letting go of these closers. Meaning not only were those closers struggling for cash, but also some of the worser closers were getting calls when it should have just been the top closers on the team staying on the team, as well as the top appointment setters staying on the team. So what did I do? So we instilled me as a setter and we instilled me as a closer, as a hybrid role. And then I became the top closer and the top appointment setter in 2 weeks. And we went from 50K a month to 77K a month. But how did this happen? This happened because I live my life on inputs, processes, outputs, feedback. So I didn't necessarily do more work than the other appointment setters. But what we did change was we got rid of 3 of the closers. So then we had the top 2 setters on the team with an extra person if there was sales overflow. And then what I did was I got feedback from somebody that had done it before. So we invested into mentorship that allowed us to tap into somebody that was doing $1 million a month in their business to give us better insight on our inputs, better insights on our processes, better insight on our outputs. And it also allowed me to drop my ego so that I could actually step into this setting and closing role. Because me and my egotistical self was like, I'm not going to do this. I just shouldn't do this. I'm already above this. I can already do this really well. And maybe you're in this position, right, where you have team members underperforming or you have too many team members and you're thinking, well, I don't want to step back into this. But actually, you're the person who can fix the system because you're fearing if this person leaves, then I don't have anyone to do it and now I'm going to have to do that. That's a huge bottleneck, a huge problem, because if you can't trust your team to get the job done, why are they in the role? And the same thing as well, if you don't have somebody to call you out on your bullshit, so if you don't have somebody doubling up your feedback, then you're going to be screwed. Because look at it like this, when you live your life as inputs, processes, outputs, feedback, when you have somebody outside of your lens of operating, so think of yourself as you are in a glass of jam and you cannot read the label outside of the jam. But when you have somebody on the outside able to read the label and able to see the things that you're not able to see, then you're going to grow much faster because you're emotionally tied into the thing, whereas they're not. So they can give you a logical perspective. And I'm not just talking about absolutely anybody. I'm talking about somebody that has experience, that has done what you want to do, or has coaching experience, or whatever that is. We were able to tap into our $1 million a month mentor because he had done what we wanted to do, right? He had a business partnership. He had destroyed his business and then started it again, and then had gone from 250K a month back down to 0 and then back up to $1 million a month. So imagine what's possible when you can dive into having that as a support role. Because if you don't learn to delegate, or you don't learn to trust yourself with making the hard decisions like hiring, firing, or building the systems that's going to allow you to spend more cash flow and feed your setters and feed your closers, if you don't trust yourself making those decisions, you're going to leave yourself 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years behind from where you could be. And this is why I have scalable accountability as part of neuroproductivity. It's like, yes, we have the inner work piece. So we have the inner work and we have the outer work. But because I know that every single business owner that I work with struggles with some level of accountability, we have scalable accountability in place. because every business owner that I work with either deals with 1, 2, 3, or a multitude of all of these. So if there is a layer missing with your inner emotional regulation, if there is a layer missing with your outer work, your systems, right? As well as the accountability for you to follow through, then you're not reaching your potential. You're not going to get to your goals as fast as you could do. Like, this is how deep I mean what I mean. Sure, you can go and research podcasts or research online blogs, but if you don't have someone in the trenches with you, able to see what's going on in the daily, in the weekly, then the feedback loop isn't there. You're just putting in more inputs and you're trying to adjust your outputs, but you're not actually getting relevant feedback on your actions from somebody who's outside of your business. Whereas with my clients, they get 2 calls a week with me. And that's not group, that's one-to-one, so that we can get direct feedback on the inner work and on the outer work, and then adjust in real time so that we can adjust the inputs, adjust the processes, and get the outputs that we wanted so that people don't make expensive mistakes over time. And you've got to have a think, like, why would I not want a coach for the area that I want to grow and prioritize the most right now? Like, for me, I have a Muay Thai coach. I have a fitness coach. I have a nutrition company that also dive in and adjust my calories each and every week. So I act as a nutrition coach. I have a Spanish coach. I have a business coach. Like, why would you not get a coach to allow you to do the inner work, the outer work, and hold you accountable to moving through on your goals? Like, why would you not? There's literally no reason not to get a coach in the space that we're in. Okay, and lastly, the third point here is that lack of decisions and lack of confidence making decisions is a sign that you're not clear on your priorities and you're causing yourself panic because you're trying to do too many things either by yourself or you don't even know what you should be doing by yourself. So you're out there building websites, you're out there trying to build a funnel that isn't even relevant to what you're doing, or you're adding all this shit that doesn't actually matter. If you're telling yourself that you can do it all, brilliant, but then at the same time, how does that allow any freedom for what you want to do? It doesn't, because you're constantly operating all day, every day in your business, including doing the shitty things that you don't like doing. Like for me, I'm not a big fan of editing. I'm not a big fan of doing my admin work. So guess what? That's offloaded to other people. And this is what productivity should mean to you, is getting the most amount of work done with the least amount of effort and least amount of time as possible. It's like working smarter, but not harder. I'm pretty sure you're a smart person listening to this, but there are people that are dumber than you, further along in their journey, because they simply are trusting other people to do things for them. And they're just trusting to operate on the plan that they already have. Like when you move into, say, hiring somebody, or you move into needing to fire somebody, or you move into wanting to travel across the world, or you move into wanting to go full-time with your business, right? When you achieve these things, it should just feel like part of the plan. That it's so easy. Like for me, if I had gone from saying, hey, I want to go from Colombia to Bali without any kind of plan, it would have been pretty scary. It would have been pretty ballsy. I would have probably ended up in this panic zone. Would I have still done it? I don't know, because I'd already been procrastinating on doing it for the entire year. I'd literally been telling myself, oh, Bali's one of my favorite places. I really want to go back. But I never really had a strong reason to go until the breakup of my business partnership. But it felt so right when things opened up again, because I created a plan that allowed me to, yes, step outside of my comfort zone and step into my growth zone, but because I had an anti-procrastination plan in place. I knew exactly everything that needed to get me from my output, which was Bali. I knew everything from an inputs and a process standpoint in order for me to feel safe and step inside my growth zone in order to do that. So if you're not stepping inside your growth zone, and the idea of making this big decision puts you into panic, it's an indication that your plan isn't good enough. It's an indication that some days you're sitting down to work or do things and you have no idea what you're going to do. You're reactive on the day. And then when you get into bed, you're doing self-sabotaging habits. You're scrolling on your phone. Your head's racing. You're getting those rushes of self-doubt on if this is going to work or if this isn't. That is a sign that you don't have your plan in place. And no wonder you're not confident on making the decisions, because confidence comes from clarity and direction. And then from clarity and direction, you get action, and then you get confidence. But that confidence should just feel like it comes. You shouldn't be able to step into that decision and be panicking, because you have the confidence from stepping inside of your growth zone, not in your panic zone, because you have a solid place for inputs, processes, outputs. And this was the same as Justin. Like Justin, one of my clients, he helps people monetize YouTube channels, has a coaching business, also has an agency business. He went from 40K a month to just under 57K a month because we dialed in neuroproductivity, his exact inputs, his processes and outputs. And he could have my feedback on the things to make sure that he was specific enough. And then from there, we did the inner work. We took him through what we call the 11 resistance questions, which brings me back to point number 1, so that we can actually, in our next few inner sessions, hit this deep emotional blocks that are holding him back. He's already had some huge mindset shifts. Like he literally told me before we started working together, he was like, bro, I just feel like I'm sitting down to work and I'm so overwhelmed because I have so many ideas and there's so many things to do. I just don't know where to get started. But you don't need to have a ton of ideas. You just need to operate on the ideas that matter the most. And then that way you can cut through the overwhelm, you can cut through the procrastination, you can keep doing and trust yourself that if I just follow this, because I know exactly what I did, I planned it out, maybe with me, that I'm going to get to where I want to get to. Because what you need to realize is it's not about how much you do. My clients always find that when they do the right things, when they solve the right problem with the right solution, that's when they grow the most. Because so many business owners are in this quadrant. They're in this quadrant of either doing the wrong problem with the wrong solution, or the right problem with the wrong solution, or they've got the wrong problem with the right solution, whereas they need to be in this bucket of the right problem with the right solution. And this is what I do with neuroproductivity, is we make sure that at all times my clients are focused on this, because that is the fastest way for you to grow. It's the fastest way for you to make sure that you're emotionally regulated, that you're going to trust the process, that you can surrender and realize that the inputs you're going to do are going to get you the outputs that you want. That even if they're doing other courses, doing other programs that actually are relevant to them, is picking the things that they need to do so they can move forward the fastest. Because even if you've invested into a course before, if it's not moving you forward, why the fuck are you still doing it? Why are you still researching? Why are you still listening to podcasts? Why are you going to these things that don't actually help you move forward? Because you're short-term gratifying yourself, telling yourself that you're getting to where you want to get to. But in actual reality, you've barely grown this year, or let alone the past month. You're still in planning mode, right? And that's because you haven't got the right solution for the right problem. So if this video was valuable in any kind of way, make sure to let me know in the comments, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.